Part of my process of working is to tidy up before I start a new piece. It somehow clears your head and prepares you. While I was sorting things out, I decided to put some of my portrait heads together on top of my piano. Because what else do you do with your piano in the studio? From left to right, we've got Vincent Butler, who was a sculptor, head of sculpture at the School of Art in Edinburgh at one time, and I rented his studio from him for a while. He was a wonderful man to be around. Next we have Frank Rushbrook, who I think was 98 when I did that. He used to turn up for sittings in a state-of-the-art Mini. He was such an amazing chap, still very vigorous at that age. That's in the University of Edinburgh collection. And we've got Bert Demarco, who taught Steve Davis to play snooker. He ran snooker halls in Edinburgh. We've got the late great Toni Morrison there, and I had amazing time trying to do her dreadlocks. And next to Toni is it's a head of Michelangelo that's in the possession of the Ashmolean collection. And when I first saw it, it was in a little dark corner at the back of the room, right upstairs, and it really wasn't very visible to anyone who was going around there. So I asked for permission to study it, because I wanted to see what he really looked like. I wanted to open his eyes up, sort the hair out, and put the ears in the right place, because it had been done by his studio assistant, Daniele da Volterra. And Michelangelo said of da Volterra's work, he was his pupil, and he left his studio to da Volterra. He said of his work that it looked good enough from a distance, but it didn't bear close inspection. And I think he was right, because when I looked at the portrait, I thought, it's sorry, not quite right there. So it wasn't that I wanted to correct somebody else's work, it's that I personally wanted to actually have a representation of Michelangelo where I could actually see what I thought he really looked like. So I've kept everything the same. I've just opened his eyes, tidied up the hair, or finished the hair off, and put the ears in the right place. Next to him is Alexander the Great. I spent a long time studying that. In fact, it was part of my dissertation. I did an MA in classics a while ago, and I looked at all the material evidence that I could get hold of, and there's quite a lot. I looked at studies of skull sizes in Macedonia from 3000 BC to today, and looked at the differences. I looked at profiles of him, descriptions of him. So it was material evidence, written evidence, archaeological evidence. I put it all together, and because I know how to do a reproduction of a sculpture, I know how to deal with doing posthumous work. I've done a few for busts, for example. Once you've got a profile and a 3/4 view and a note of the skull type, there are 5 basic skull types on the planet. And once you've got that information, you're actually well on your way. Soft tissue and all the rest of it that's harder. But if you've got pictures, you know what the shape of the nose is like, you know what the ears were like. Whereas if you've just got the skull, you really are guessing an awful lot of it. So we had skull types, and we had all the other information as well. So these are my 6 heroes on the top of my piano. Thanks for watching.